Hey, welcome to the Danger Zone. It's Ashley. Everything in this video can be found on a public domain, and the full disclaimers down below. Lots of love and many blessings your way.
Of all of the controversies that swirl around this one's wife, the speculation and the rumours, there is one that stands out above them all.
Belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop.
I've come to the conclusion, and this is my opinion, based off of the work and evidence that I have shown everyone, that we have been jerked around. And it's my belief that the Markles have been very much a part of this from the very beginning. With all the discussions that have been going on throughout the years about why the media never spoke about these two invisible children due to certain restrictions that might be in place, it does feel like maybe those restrictions have been lifted and the media has the green light to move forward in talking about the con of the century.
She was given hell for always touching her baby bump and always pouring at Harry. When she stands next to him and doesn't touch, when she doesn't
You're saying
do that,
she had a baby.
She got all kinds of attention because it was like, she's acting like a weird pregnant person. Like,
a time will come when Harry and Meghan will actually have to prove the children exist. So either they'll have to purchase two children and pass them off as their own.
Yeah. Well, this program has already. Our policy is we accept that Archie and Lilibet don't exist, don't we?
No, we don't.
Why are the kids there for the Netflix documentary?
Because I told you they don't exist.
Can anyone please explain to me why these children have never had family portraits done with the Queen?
Word.
And if they did, were they ever released?
I can't explain that. It's because they don't exist.
You know what?
Archie and Lilibet, just figments of Harry and Meghan's imagination.
It's just going to take people their own time to realize that all of this has been a lie. And I believe that those that have a personal interest with certain individuals are going to feel a lot of anger. How they will deal with it is yet to be seen. Perhaps they already know and are still going along with it to save face.
Let me start by saying this. We all know Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are liars who will lie to anyone about anything to get their own way. We all witnessed how Meghan Markle lied to the British High Court, and now Prince Harry is doing the exact same with his ridiculous court cases. We all witnessed their many, many lies during the Oprah shit show of a sit-down, been all the lies we have caught Meghan Markle in. We all know Harry and Meghan love manipulating photos or releasing photos taken at a much earlier date. They attempt to pass it off as a more recent photo. The two claim they want to fight misinformation while being the two biggest purveyors of misinformation themselves.
They messed up so many times. From the wrong baby bump size from one event to the next, one day to the next. It changed shapes. It went from round to flat to square. When she would squat down or sit down, the thing would double up, or it would make a popping noise, reinflating itself.
Oh my God. Should we snap that?
Understand exactly why they had to pull off a fake pregnancy, and that's clearly what it was.
Because an heir has to be born from a titled royal mother.
This was debated on Wednesday, the 13th of March 2013. It is on the UK Parliament website, so it's all official. People were debating whether or not the rules that we have currently in place would be sufficient now and into the future. This is all thinking about the future. It hasn't happened in the past, it hasn't happened immediately, it hasn't happened in the here and now, but it could in the future. This is what Lord True said. My concern arises from the security of the 17th century term heir of the body, the governing definition for the right to succession, as it might be constructively tested in the courts in modern conditions, namely the emerging legislation for same-sex marriage and the techniques of surrogate childbirth. So basically what they're saying is, for same-sex marriages, that would not bar somebody from ascending to the throne. Only a natural-born child of a husband and wife can succeed to the throne.
Speculation about the children has been simmering for years. The kids are 6th and 7th in line to the throne, but have been under cloak and dagger secrecy since they were born.
Now, if you have followed any Mexit account or any YouTube account for the last 5 years, you must be aware that there is this underlying current and speculation when it comes to Meghan Markle's pregnancy with regards to Archie. Now, there are some people that believe that she carried and that she was pregnant. There are some people believe that she used a surrogate. There are some people believe that, well, I don't know what they believe, but there's always been that underlying current and speculation and doubt.
I used to be a doubter about the moon bump, but now I'm starting to be a believer. It began to dawn on me that it might not be beyond these people. And now as I look at everything they've done here in America that is just like start and stop and halt and fail, it makes sense to me that this is the exact kind of person that would fake a pregnancy.
After looking at all of the evidence, I have to say, one, and this is the most important, I can really see why people are suspicious. Absolutely.
There's been a lot of evidence visually that would lead one who's watching to just raise their eyebrows and go, what's this about? You know, something's going on here. And I was firmly against believing that. I was like, that's too conspiracy theory for me. You guys need to like not care so much. You know, she had her kids, whatever. Then after I read Spare and after I read Revenge and after I watched the documentary, I thought to myself, these people are nefarious. These people are tricksters by trade, you know? And so I would not put it past them.
Maybe. If they had the right surrogate, if they were careful, if they had a few people around them they could trust, could they pull it off? Yeah.
But it just seems to me that if you are so like wanting to be new and progressive and different and, you know, we don't have to do things the traditional royal way, you would highlight the fact that, you know, maybe you were having fertility struggles and you wanted to use a surrogate and you would want to document that journey. Like if they were looking for things to make them newsworthy and interesting, wouldn't that have been the better story than to fake the pregnancy that you can't manage to hold up because the thing keeps falling?
Yeah, I was about 60% convinced that it was a legitimate pregnancy. I was only about 40% won over by the pro-surrogacy faction. But I was virtually 100% convinced that Nutmeg was pad in her belly, that the moon bump was in fact, you know, a mail order moon bump, that what we were seeing was not reality. I still hadn't reached the tipping point on this is not a legitimate pregnancy. Since then, of course, we have more information that's come to light. We have the information on the Netflix docudrama. We have the information from Tom Bauer's book, Revenge. And most tellingly, we have the information from the Sock Puppet's memoir, Wham. And as I say, that is the most telling. We've got 3 pregnancies we need to look at. Back in 2021, we were only looking at 1 pregnancy, just the discussion of the putative child Archie. Now we have also the putative child Lilibet and the alleged lost pregnancy in between.
Belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop.
This rumour or allegation repeatedly pops up. The suggestion appears in something that's known as Entertain Eats. The article tells us, at 28, this one's wife underwent a life-altering hysterectomy, a procedure involving the surgical removal of the uterus. This significant decision was prompted by her health concerns and struggles, compelling her to address a condition that deeply impacted her well-being. Now, pausing there, the article doesn't actually say where the information has come from. It doesn't say where she discussed this private matter. It doesn't detail in what forum or interview this came about.
Brother has stated on the record that Meghan Markle had a hysterectomy. Now, he said that it was in fact Trevor that told him that. And again, I will reiterate that that's not a fact that I am stating that she had that. I'm saying it is hearsay that Thomas Markle Jr. has said that.
You will make your own mind up as to what you believe. But what is it that Thomas Markle has had to say? Well, let's have a look at the video clip.
You know, why do people come on here and say, please confirm that Meghan gave birth in 1997? Seriously? Who gives a flying fuck? I mean, ask Meghan. Seriously, ask Meghan. All I can say about that is Trevor, her ex-husband, confirmed that she had a hysterectomy. So about giving birth, I have no idea. Maybe it was before, maybe, I don't know. You know, but Trevor said she had a hysterectomy. Therefore, because it was a problem in their relationship and he wanted children. So it's out there. Google it. You know, everything is out there on Google, everything. Trevor put an article out there that Meghan had a hysterectomy and couldn't have children. And that was a big issue in their relationship. So that says a lot to the fake royal kids right now, because obviously they couldn't have come out of her. So that's something that she obviously is going to have to deal with eventually. But the way a narcissist works, they'll never, ever admit to anything, ever any wrongdoing.
This video clip is pretty forthright, isn't it? So it's interesting that he appreciates that she's a narcissist. And here is the clear suggestion that she has had her hysterectomy either prior to or during her relationship with Trevor Engelson.
I don't know. It feels like in this day and age where, you know, we can know with certainty who the dad is and whatnot, that probably wouldn't be an issue. But certainly mean that Meghan wasn't the mom if she had a hysterectomy, because she wouldn't have anything to give for her side of things. You know, I don't know. But all I know is that it seems like there could be some truth. And I don't give any credence to this rumor because Tom Jr. said it or because supposedly the ex said it, who's never said anything in his day about Meghan. So why would suddenly now he deign to have a word? But I kind of think that if there is truth to this, it tracks with who they are.
Were this treated seriously and confirmed with the provision, for instance, of medical records, or even if Trevor Engelson was to confirm that that was the case, the ramifications would be huge, and it would result in considerable negative fuel flowing in the direction of this one's wife as she received condemnation, but it would be challenge fuel because it would repeatedly threaten her need for control. It would undoubtedly result in repercussions arising from the palace, most likely also the stripping of titles in relation to Archie and Lilibet, or at least them being removed from the line of succession. Why would Trevor Engelson confirm to Thomas Markle Jr. that his wife, or ex-wife, had had a hysterectomy?
So one of the reasons that I would totally believe a hysterectomy, if Trevor himself wanted to come forward and show us medical documentation or something of that sort, I'd be like, yes, well, I was inclined to believe you because everything that Meghan has done is a facade. It would make sense to me that they would pretend that they were pregnant, get all of the praise and the attention, and oh, Meghan, she's, you know, look how cute she is in her little pregnancy clothes, and have her little pregnancy shoot and have her big belly, and like get to like bask in this whole sexy mama thing. But then ultimately somebody else carried the kid.
The damage to status for this one's wife would be significant. She wouldn't feel ashamed because, of course, she doesn't experience shame or embarrassment, but it would all amount to an absolute tsunami of a shit show of a threat to control for her, and would likely cause her to either go on the offensive with legal proceedings, if there was any basis for doing so, or more likely to retreat and try and lie low. But of course, that's all presuming that this information is accurate. Trevor Engelson has always behaved in a noble fashion when it comes to this one's wife, choosing to get on with his life and not talk about her. The most appropriate response, of course, when dealing with the narcissist, thus maintaining a no-contact regime. In fact, it doesn't appear that Thomas Markle Jr. is actually suggesting that Trevor told him directly, but rather that Trevor has put the information out there in an article. He doesn't actually explain which article it is and suggests that people Google it. But the fact is, again, for Trevor Engelson to put in an article that his ex-wife had had a hysterectomy and that caused a problem in their relationship because he wanted children, again, doesn't sit with the normal discreet and privacy approach that he has adopted.
It's certainly something that a narcissist may well do. Whether this one's wife has actually gone ahead and done it, there is no convincing evidence put forward to support that proposition. Nevertheless, if she had, and it therefore removed her ability to have children, would a narcissist then take the steps to have children thereafter? Quite possibly, because children can be used, of course, as a very effective means of binding the intimate partner primary source to the narcissist.
And confirm that, in effect, this one's wife has lied about having the children? Do you believe that she hasn't been able to have the children, but Trevor Engelson hasn't said something? Or do you think that she has had the children and this is a load of attention seeking being generated by Thomas Markle Jr., and Trevor Engelson would not be so indiscreet as to make mention of something that either did or did not happen?
Caught me with my belly drop, and we know why. I couldn't keep it above my thighs, and when it shifted more with every glance, man, I didn't stand a chance. You caught my belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop, oh, belly, 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 belly drop.
The headline reads, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle plunged into surrogacy scandal after actress's estranged dad cast doubt on birth of their son, Archie. Radar staff writes, Prince Harry and his clout-chasing wife Meghan Markle are being rocked by a shocking surrogacy scandal, said sources, who added the diva's very own dad is casting doubt on the birth of the couple's son, Archie. It was P. Dina who interviewed Thomas Markle 2 years ago. He revealed when he said Meghan had frozen her eggs. Here's the clip.
Flown back to get her eggs. I'm assuming she had Archie.
The diva's very own dad is casting doubt on the birth of the couple's son, Archie. Now, Buckingham Palace is being pressured to remove Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet from the UK's royal line of succession until the Duchess of Sussex provides absolute proof that she popped out both babies herself. A high-level palace courtier claimed this scandal comes as no surprise.
I find it a bit staged, don't you? Thomas Markle Sr. claims that Meghan went to go pick up her frozen eggs, but how would he have known that if he claims that the last time he spoke to Meghan was right before the wedding when he had his heart attack? What's amazing to me is that those that have been triangulating the information that Thomas Markle Sr. had put out about Meghan going to pick up her eggs never once challenged Thomas Markle Sr. on how he knew about that information, considering he claims he hadn't spoken to Meghan since the wedding. And considering that Thomas Markle has a history of admitting to lying, why would any journalist not thoroughly vet this one important detail? Here we are with Samantha and her father being the one to seed now the narrative of Meghan using a surrogate, when it was really Yankee Wally and Ashley from Danger Zone who were the first ones, the ones who had been harassed, who have been doxxed. But what I want here from this whole situation is not to forget the people who had been affected as a result of these two going behind the scenes to try and take away people's rights.